Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with the kill count, and today, well, they come to the future to destroy us. Because we got the 1984 Terminator. Yep. If we all know this one, the horror movie that started an action franchise. Think about it. Well, anyway, might as well just hop in and get to see how many people the Terminator got in their very first, rampage. Shall we? Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. That's up for the robot. Let's go.
Welcome to the kill count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm sorry, and show you how they were made. I'm James H. Denise, and today we're looking at the Terminator, released in 1984. The Terminator is an action sci-fi thriller whose titular killer robot became an icon of the 80s. Nowadays, it's a $3 billion property that includes books, comic books, video games, a TV series that starred Lena Headey, and 5 theatrically released cinematic sequels, the continuity of which gets pretty messy to say the least. But this multimedia franchise had humble beginnings. It was made for about $6 million by an inexperienced, unknown
1984.
James Cameron was only 29 when he wrote and directed The Terminator, kicking off a hugely successful career that includes Avatar, the highest-grossing movie of all time, and the Avatar sequel and Titanic, which come in at numbers 3 and 4. While The Terminator sequels are big blockbuster action fare, the original film is much more horror-adjacent. It's dark and brooding, with our heroes on the run from an unstoppable killing machine. In fact, Cameron idolized John Carpenter and had slashers in mind when he wrote the script. The Terminator has just as much in common with Michael Myers as he does with other influences, like Roy Blatty from Blade Runner and Yul Brynner from Westworld. The Terminator is played by a 37-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger
that would be like a horror movie.
Prior to this, he had been a bodybuilder and Conan the Barbarian, but after this, he was a bona fide star with a huge career in the 80s and 90s full of action movies and family-friendly comedies. Then in 2003, he was elected Governor of California. Heck of a life this guy's had. Schwarzenegger plays opposite Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn, who both bring a lot to their roles. Hamilton gives Sarah Connor a girder of strength beneath the relatable, fun-loving young woman she starts the film as. And Biehn plays the smart, sensitive hero expertly, which is probably why Cameron cast him as Corporal Hicks in Aliens a couple years later. While some of the effects are showing their age, The Terminator is a classic with awesome action sequences and jarring kills. How many? Well, I'll be happy to tell you when... I was so young back then. I remember it like it was yesterday. The day started so normal. The kill count. Cameras rolling. The backlights glow. But I had been haunted. Inflation was rising. It felt like just walking out the door cost $50. I was on the verge of giving up. Then everything changed when I met them. It was love at first sponsorship. They introduced me to a world I'd never known. The world of the free Upside app, which I could use to save money on daily essentials at over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. Oh, we had a whirlwind affair. They showed me that all I had to do was claim an offer for whatever I'm buying on the app, then use my credit or debit card as usual. They dazzled me with Upside's real cash back. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Then, just as fast as they entered my life, I lost them. But I still remember them every time I use Upside to earn 3 times more cash back compared to other products. And I'll always keep them with me. You don't need a lost love to start earning. Top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside and use code DEADMEAT to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or scan the QR code here to claim this offer. Will this chrome killer destroy all humans, or is he just Dorothy's Tin Man in a cool leather jacket?
Let's go find out
and get to the kills.
Yeah, I mean, the breakout film for a lot of stars. Hamilton, Steve, and especially Arnold. Like, when you think Arnold, you think Terminator. I can't help but say it, but goddamn, you gotta love the way he just goes. You gotta love the accent. So, I'm actually kind of curious to see who dies in the Terminator Rampage, and shall we? Let's go find out.
The movie begins with awesome miniatures doing awesome shit. Blow that skull up, Robo-mofo! And a soldier too, sure, yeah. Let's start counting right off the bat. It's 2029, and these motherfucking robots have taken over the motherfucking world. They've spent decades hunting down the last surviving humans after a nuclear war, and now they're sending a weapon to the past. A weapon named Arnold Schwarzenegger, playing the part of Title Card. The opening credits let us enjoy Brad Feidel's score, which has a percussive mechanical heartbeat similar to the title character. Sounds like it's being banged out from an air vent. I freaking love it. The classic main theme, and its irregular 13/16 time signature, also feels like it was made by a machine. But it wasn't. It was made by a dude in his garage.
It was a cool garage.
The only part of the score I don't like are the gloopy globs that happen during some of the chase scenes later.
80s.
We're back in the present of 1984 in Los Angeles, where lightning portends the arrival of a naked-ass Austrian. He unfurls himself into the absolute specimen that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Look at those lats,
it's
those
the universe.
those glutes. This butt-naked buff boy is the titular Terminator, specifically the T-800 model. He comes across a trio of punks hanging outside Griffith Observatory, and shockingly, they refrain from making any Uranus jokes. T-Man asks for a favor.
Your clothes. Give them to me, now.
The goons don't appreciate his tone, but he don't appreciate their knives, so he tosses their leader into a nearby gate. He then turns to another one and punches straight through the guy's torso. God damn! The last man standing strips down, presumably sparing him from termination. The perforated punk is played by Brian Thompson, last seen on the kill count as Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. His blue-haired buddy is the late Bill Paxton, a two-time kill count vet whose gate crashing honestly doesn't feel that lethal, but most people count it as a kill. It's probably so Paxton can keep his record as the only actor killed by a Terminator, a Predator, and a Xenomorph. The last one in Aliens, which was Cameron's next film, made 2 years later. The Terminator is the first real James Cameron film. He had directed Piranha 2: The Spawning a few years earlier, but says he was fired from that job and even disowned it for a while. Cameron came up through the Roger Corman School of Filmmaking, which meant making movies cheap and by any means necessary.
I was of that ethos that if my hands weren't filthy by the end of the day, I wasn't directing a movie.
After seeing Cameron's 1978 short Xenogenesis, Corman hired him as crew for a few low-budget sci-fi films. That's how Cameron met future wife and Terminator producer Gale Ann Hurd.
I, of course, assumed he was the head of the model shop. It turned out he was just a model builder, but he acted like he was the head of the model shop. He had that kind of authority.
Cameron was poor as...
That's actually kind of interesting. The whole, like, if I didn't make my hands dirty on this, I don't accept it, but why do I disown, like, Piranha 2? I never actually seen it, so I don't know how bad it is. If you guys know, let me know, because I'm actually kind of curious now. I'll probably look it up later, but, shall we get moving?
Hell when he wrote The Terminator, even sleeping in his car for a little while.
My mom was sending me coupons in the mail that allowed me to buy 2 Big Macs for the price of 1 so that I could survive.
He sold the script to Hurd for $1 in exchange for a guarantee he'd get to direct. That was a problem for a while since he was so inexperienced, but he gradually won people over with his vision for the film.
Suddenly I went from a guy who was sitting on a high horse to a guy who really wanted to work on this film.
You know, instead of being like, well, let's see, I'm going, oh, please, I hope you're gonna hire me for this movie.
Across town, another naked time traveler touches down. He's in good shape, but you never want to be the guy showing up naked after Arnold, unless you're like, maybe Bobby Lashley. Some cops see the guy pants nabbing, and he becomes the #1 pants felon. All units on high alert. Pants man, rolling around in those pants, man. He manages to evade them, thanks in part to a Texas switch, the filming technique where a shot starts with a stunt performer who then hides behind something so the real actor can emerge. We learned about this from its extensive use in the opening of Orphan First Kill. This guy ain't another Terminator. He's Kyle Reese, a soldier on the human side of the future war. He and the Terminator are both looking for Sarah Connor. The only problem is there are 3 of them in this town. The one we care about has a Honda scooter. Look at her driving that thing around with it looking like an old Hewlett Packard on wheels. Sarah's a college student who works at a local diner named Big Jeff's. The only dangers she's used to are the perils of food service. Yep, that's me. Bet you're wondering how I wound up with a pocket full of ice cream. So she's not a huge threat, but that doesn't stop T-Man from arming up to kill an elephant. He's buying guns from the late Dick Miller, a 4-time kill count veteran whose chopping mall quote caps off the extended Dead Meat intro.
Dead meat.
From the sights of it, it's the same guy who arms the cops at Crystal Lake.
You put the red dot where you want the bullet to go.
Wherever the red dot goes.
Yep.
You bang.
He's happy to sell a full arsenal, but doesn't like the Terminator's lack of safe handling.
You can't do that.
Oh!
That Dick gets blown apart by one of Dick's guns. T-Man's a dick blowing up Dick like that. Arnold was originally supposed to read for Kyle Reese, but found himself more drawn to the Terminator, even though the character only has 17 lines. After meeting with him, Cameron felt the same way, and even sketched Arnold as the cyborg.
And I looked at this painting and I said, I am the Terminator.
Together, they worked out how he would move as an efficient machine with no wasted energy. It was Arnold's idea to move his eyes first and let his head follow, making him look like a security camera. Casting Arnold got the movie greenlit and made financing easier, but they also had to wait 8 months to start shooting while he filmed Conan the Destroyer. The delay was rough on Cameron financially, but he made the most of it creatively. They spent the time storyboarding and shooting rough versions of the action scenes, while Stan Winston was able to perfect the prosthetics and puppets he wanted to use. Now armed to the T-800, Terminator sets his sights on Sarah Connor, but he only has the white pages to track her down, but he wishes Waze had been invented by now. The low-tech listing aims his crosshairs on a poor random house.
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor.
Yes?
No! He kicks open the door and ya bangs. Ya bangs her all to hell.
Damn.
Sorry, secondary Sarah. Our favorite Sarah Connor sees a news report about the incident at work.
Sarah Connor, 35, mother of 2, brutally shot to death in her home this afternoon.
You're dead, honey.
This is actually a little confusing. The Sarah Connor on the news here is not the Sarah Connor we just saw get killed. They're talking about Sarah Ann Connor, a third Sarah Connor from the phone book who I guess was murdered off screen. But since we never saw the character in video form, I won't be putting her on the count. While hot wiring a car, showing his familiarity with machines, Kyle sees construction vehicles that give him a robo-flashback, or I guess flash forward, Ben Foster style. We see his life in a world where Skelly skulls were always getting crushed. Man, I hate Skellies, but I might have to call them allies in the war against machines. I mean, at least you used to be a human, you know? During a fight, Kyle's battle buddy is blown to pieces by a passing tank, adding her to the count. Kyle escapes to a mad maxed out car, which he drives away full speed, giving his gunner a real rough time. Man, that guy's back is about to be fucked. Oh wait, his whole life is fucked, since that futuristic fighter jet turned him into a dead dummy. The nightmare attack sends Reese screaming back to the present. These scenes of a war-ravaged future were done by a team led by Gene Warren Jr. of Fantasy II VFX. Almost all of it was done using miniatures built on an 18-foot wide set atop a 3-foot platform. They used lots of awesome, simple tricks, including cardboard cutouts for ruined buildings, walnut dust for good-looking fireballs, handheld flashlights for searchlights, and hiding the scale of it all with lots of smoke. Forced perspective was key, with larger stuff in the foreground and tiny stuff in the background to make it feel much bigger. The hunter-killer robots were built from the ground up and radio controlled, and since time and budget were so strained, they sometimes had to shoot parts of them before the models were completely finished. The shots were then put behind human actors using both front and rear screen projection. Sarah goes back to her apartment, where she lives with her roommate Ginger and her pet Pugsley. Weird looking dog.
Pugsley still loves me, don't you, baby?
Yeah! Sarah's getting ready in her sweet Jetson shirt for a night on the town, leaving the apartment to Ginger and her boy toy Matt. A guy so considerate, he starts the foreplay before he even gets there.
First, I'm gonna rip the buttons off your blouse one by one.
Sarah hops on her scooter, not needing a helmet more than her hair, and drives off without realizing she's got a secret admirer in the form of Kyle Reese. The homonym homicides have caught the attention of 80s cops Traxler and Vukovich.
A one-day pattern killer.
I hate the weird ones.
Vukovich is played by Lance Henriksen, a 5-time kill count veteran, which includes many appearances in the Alien franchise. Cameron had met Henriksen when he starred in Piranha 2, and originally envisioned him to play the Terminator. He even drew him as the character. Back then, the robot assassin was going to rely on infiltration, blending in with everyday people. That changed with the casting of an Austrian bodybuilder, and the character instead became an indestructible tank. Henriksen would still get to play a robot for Cameron as Bishop in Aliens. The cops are unable to reach Sarah's apartment on the phone on account of all the headbanging and also banging. They release a news statement about the Connor killer, which Sarah sees on the TV. She realizes she's probably in danger thanks to that damn phone book doxing her. She heads home, but notices Kyle following her, so she ducks inside a nightclub called Tech Noir. Man, she has to pay for admission just to use their phone? Probably doesn't even have any cool games on it. The Terminator makes his way to Sarah's apartment, where Ginger's making herself a post-coital sandwich. That means Matt's all alone when the T-800 breaks in, and despite his awesome undies, he's no match for the machine. T-Man uses Matt to break every nearby piece of glass, while Ginger's none the wiser thanks to her Walkman. He finally gets her attention by busting down her door with Matt's bloody body. Ginger tries to escape, but the idiot runs in slow motion, so Terminator's able to gun her down. He finishes her off with 5 more shots, because Terminator don't fuck around.
Very much.
Sarah calls to leave note for Ginger, and the answering machine betrays her to its cousin from the future.
I'm at this place on Pico Boulevard called Tech Noir.
Though Tech Noir isn't real, Pico Boulevard is a well-known street in LA. The entire movie was set and is filmed in sunny Los Angeles. Not that you'll see much sun. It was shot over 10 weeks, most of which were night shoots. I love how it captures that early 80s urban grime. The Terminator gets to the club in record time and gains admittance by paying the iron price, his iron grip. He's ready to cap the last Connor, but Reese is nearby and puts his shotgun to good use. He pumps 5 rounds into the Terminator, which puts him down for all of 2 seconds. The cyborg retaliates, missing Reese, but catching one club goer in the crossfire. Sorry, dude. The T-800 sprays at Sarah next, killing 2 more club patrons in the process.
Bye-bye.
I mean, they're either dead or crying in the club. Sarah gets tripped up in the body blockade, but Reese comes to the rescue again.
Come with me if you want to live.
They have an intense foot chase through a back alley, during
usually
which
hear Arnold
fiery
saying that, but
fails to
nope.
slow the running
Kyle
man
gets
down.
the first one.
The Terminator punches through Reese's windshield, but they manage to shake him off thanks to Reese's expert maneuvering. Sarah sure could learn a lot from this guy.
Do exactly what I say.
Oh, great, and he's a willing teacher,
cool,
too.
thanks.
Stuntman Frank Orsatti doubled Arnold for that scene, jumping onto the hood of a car while on fire. I'm not sure if he had it better or worse than Michael Bihn's stunt double, who had to fall 5 feet onto concrete while naked. Arnold did do some stunts himself, being on top of a moving car while strapped to its hood. For his close-ups, they drove a fake brick wall past a stationary car to make it seem like it was moving. That allowed them to use this fake fist attached to a pneumatic arm to punch through an actual windshield. Schwarzenegger said the worst part of the shoot was the mild acid they poured on him in order to make him smoke. The Terminator hijacks a squad car from a cop and calls for backup using the Scream 3 voice changer.
This is 1L19.
Reese still manages to shake off all the fuzz by pulling off an expert BattleBot maneuver. He and Sarah hide in a nearby parking garage so he can dump some exposition on her. He tells her she's been targeted for termination by a future hitman called a T-800, or the Terminator. It was created by Skynet, a security system that gained sentience and nearly destroyed humanity by launching a bunch of nukes. While the T-800's brains and bones are Skynet. He's bundled up in actual flesh and hair, allowing him to blend in with humans.
Sweat, bad breath, everything. Very hard to spot.
This tech isn't available now, but it will be in 40 years, meaning, wait, 2024? I mean, we're not quite there yet, but
not even
we're
close.
on the way, doesn't it? Scary. This cyborg assassin is relentless and will stop at nothing to kill Sarah.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear.
The reason he's been sent here is because, despite what those flash forwards looked like, apparently humans were on the verge of winning the war, thanks to their fearless leader, John Connor.
Your son, Sarah. Your unborn son.
If the Terminator can kill Sarah now, her son will never be born, and future humans won't have their George Washington. Reese and Sarah commandeer another vehicle, but not before the Terminator finds them, kicking off another car chase. This time, Sarah drives, while Reese rides shotgun. The T-800 crashes just as the police catch up with them. The humans are taken into custody, while their mechanical adversary says an Irish goodbye. At the police station, Reese is questioned by a sleazy psychologist named Dr. Silberman. Reese says his time-traveling device has been destroyed, meaning he and the Terminator are stranded in time.
Nobody goes home. Nobody else comes through. It's just him and me.
Reese is dismissed as a schizophrenic, and the Terminator's strength and invulnerability are chalked up to bulletproof vests and PCP. Even if he's unstoppable.
Yeah, I don't know about 5 freaking guns, like shotgun shots. Like, seriously, anyone who was there would have told you, like, yeah, I don't think even that's gonna stop 5 to the chest. Yeah, And a car blowing up? Yeah, right. I don't even think even PCP could do that. Like, I guess he wants to... I mean, to be fair, if I heard, like, Future Assassin, I'd probably think, like, oh, you're crazy. But, yikes. Things wouldn't add up with that kind of explanation. Anyway.
The Terminator's still looking pretty beat. He finds a hidey hole to perform some auto repairs, pulling out his pupil with an X-Acto knife. Wow, sick. I defy anyone to watch this scene and tell me this thing ain't a horror movie. Look at his metal tendons, his freaky robot eye. Horrific, a lot of it. He winds up looking like a Disneyland animatronic with some dated effects, so it's a good thing he puts on some sunglasses. Or should I say sexy specs, since it turns him back into Arnold. The idea to use both a puppet and a prosthetic on Arnold's face came from Stan Winston, who led the team that did the effects for the Terminator character. He had already been nominated for an Oscar for Heartbeats and worked with Rob Bottin on The Thing, but the Terminator brought Winston a new level of fame, and he'd go on to win multiple Oscars for effects work, including on more Cameron films like Aliens and T2 Judgment Training Day, and of course, Jurassic Park, where he brought the dinosaurs to life. For this scene, his team made a huge oversized version of Arnold's face for close-ups of the eye during operation. They also, pretty obviously, used a puppet version that I'm sure looked great at the time, but I'm glad they restricted its use to this scene and some shots later on when he's driving a truck. The prosthetic piece on Arnold looks much better. The Terminator arms up and makes his way to the police station, which we're told is full of future victims.
I got 30 cops in this building.
Here we go.
Dr. Silberman narrowly avoids getting added to the count, unlike this desk jockey who tells the Terminator to scram.
I'll be back.
And back he be when he drives his car through the wall and crushes the dummy who was once a cop. The Terminator embarks on a full precinct assault, mowing down 7 officers in the hallways and at their desks. Wow, Terminator's a mad hacksaw. He's using unlimited ammo and shooting through the walls. What the fuck? He stops momentarily to take out the station's power, a disruption that gives Reese a chance to escape. The shootout continues and sees 3 more cops get added to the count. Terminator's KD is insane. Sarah stays safely tucked away as the Mean Machine keeps on trucking, passing 2 bodies on the floor we haven't seen before and dropping a 3rd as well. Traxler is injured by a stray shot, and when Vukovic tries to help, Terminator kills both of them just off screen. Reese catches up with Sarah and helps her escape the hellscape of the station, passing by another dead body as they do. So Terminator's doing a great job killing, but how has he not found them yet? You walking in circles or something, my man? The humans hijack a cop car, narrowly avoiding T-Man on their way out. A fade to black empties their gas tank, and the 2 take refuge beneath an overpass. Reese got shot and is nonchalant about it, but Sarah takes it as an opportunity to get him naked.
Take this off.
Just kidding, she ain't in the mood yet. She's had enough action movie shenanigans and is ready to throw in the towel. Reese rallies her by saying her future son is super cool.
I'd die for John Connor.
Wow, dude, simp much? Reese tells her about the future and how humans all live in junkyard land. It's easy to get killed out there, so they gather underground, where they're not as foddery, but things still ain't fun. Everyone's coughing, eating slop, and watching the only channel they've got, the Yule Log one. The only thing that kept Reese's pieces together was a photo of the woman who trained their leader, Sarah Connor. He says that when they figured out how to kill those big tanks called HKs, or hunter killers, the machines created Terminators to infiltrate their ranks. We watch one sneaky machine enter their hideout and lay waste to all the humans it sees. Hard to tell with all the flashing and cutting going on, but I think 8 refugees and soldiers get zapped to death here.
Damn.
This other Terminator was played by bodybuilder Franco Columbu, who became close friends with Arnold after a competition in Germany in 1965. Columbu was Schwarzenegger's best man and godfather to his daughter, and the 2 remained close friends and workout buddies until his death in 2019. Reese sets them up in a motel with strict instructions for Sarah to stay put. She can't resist calling her mom though, who asks Sarah where she is. Foolishly, Sarah tells her, and we see that she was talking to the Terminator doing another spot-on voice impression. It's implied that he killed her actual mom, but we don't see a body and we never met her, so I can't put her on the count. Reese and Sarah prep for their final battle with a Build-A-Bomb workshop. This movie's had plenty of action, sci-fi, and horror, but now it adds another genre, romance.
I came across time for you, Sarah.
Between that line and that hunky bod, Reese gets himself a piece in a super sexy sex scene, scored to a piano version of the main theme. Whole lot of hand clutching and boob cupping going on here. Whole lot of boob cupping, wow. Honk honk. Between the love story and Sarah Connor as a strong but relatable character, the Terminator's success was driven in part by an unexpectedly large female audience.
Oh my God, we have as many women seeing the movie as men.
Cameron wrote a strong female protagonist because he was inspired by Ripley in Alien.
It also sort of fit with my view of the female half of the species in general.
Despite the technical wording there, Cameron legit loves strong ladies. His list of ex-wives is a testament to that. Dude was married to his all-star producer Gallan Hurd, the first woman to win a directing Oscar, Catherine Bigelow, and Sarah Connor herself, Linda Hamilton. His current wife, Susie Amos, seems cool too. She was Rose's granddaughter in Titanic. Oh, Cameron, that was the sponsor. God damn it, Ben. Sarah and Reese's pillow talk is cut short by the T-Hater 100. They give him the slip and make off in their 3rd stolen car of the week, setting off yet another chase scene. The only reason this movie gets away with so many of these things is because they all include at least one awesome moment, or a couple, or several, like when they debike the T-Man here and give him a nasty cyborg spill. Then he gets run over by like 36 tires. Jesus Christ. The trucker gets out to check what he just killed, but the answer is nothing. The Terminator is still alive enough to maybe kill the trucker with his bare hands. Not sure about this.
I mean, it doesn't seem like he did.
Then he scares off the guy riding passenger with a polite request.
Get out out.
The T-800 commandeers the vehicle and tries to shift into maximum overdrive. As Sarah runs, Reese slips the big T, an exhaust pipe bomb, and takes cover in a dumpster. Good thing he does, because when it goes off, we get an absolutely massive explosion. There's fire everywhere. It's raining straight napalm. Cameron wanted to blow up a full-size tanker for this scene, but couldn't because they filmed next to the LAPD armory. Instead, both the truck and the alley were rebuilt at 1/6 scale in a studio in Burbank. This is one of the movie's most impressive effects to me. I never noticed this truck wasn't the real deal. The Big Bang itself was achieved with 42 separate explosions detonated by pyrotechnician Joe Viscasil. A faulty front axle actually ruined their first take, and it took them 2 days to make another model to blow up. The Terminator tries to stop, drop, and roll, but the heat is too much for him to take. Hope y'all enjoyed watching Arnold, because that part of the movie is over. This fire cleanses the Schwartz right off that thing. Of course, that doesn't mean it's dead.
Yeah, we ain't done yet.
You friggin' dummies. Terminator's got a sinister urge. He's like Rob Zombie. He's never gonna stop. The humans flee to a nearby building, which appropriately enough is a robotics factory. Man, y'all know I love practical effects, but I'll be the first to say some of the shit looks dated. Like, it's charming, but it's dated. Still, it's impressive how much they did to bring the T-800 endoskeleton to life. Cameron originally wanted to use stop motion only, but Stan Winston pushed to make full-sized animatronics and puppets. The full-bodied hero model was 6'2" and weighed 200 pounds. It was made up of over 1,000 chrome-plated parts, took almost a year to build, and required 5 people to operate. Other versions included a quarter-scale miniature for the stop-motion shots, and a backpack version that was worn by puppeteer Shane Mahan. They used that version to simulate the Terminator walking with a limp. They also made individual body parts for close-ups. As the Terminator gets distracted by other machines, Sarah finds her inner commando.
Move it, Reese! On your feet, soldier!
Just in time, since the killer robot corners them on a catwalk. Yeah, the catwalk. Reese is beaten down, but sticks a pipe bomb where it hurts and blows the T-800 to smithereens. Unfortunately, it comes at the cost of his life, and Reese dies from his injuries. Womp womp. Before she has a chance to mourn, Sarah's jump scared by a metal arm. This Energizer executioner just keeps going and going. The image of a half-skeleton robot crawling relentlessly after a woman was the first thing Cameron dreamt up for the movie while he was sick in Rome during post-production on Piranha 2. The terminating torso chases Sarah onto the factory line and underneath a hydraulic press. It nearly nabs her, but she defeats him with 2 of his own tricks. Machinery and a one-liner.
You're a terminated fucker.
The press pulverizes the Metal Man, finally putting an end to his pursuit. And whatever, I'll put the Terminator on the count. He's humanoid like the androids I counted in the Alien series. Plus, he has living tissue and is the titular character. Don't at me, okay? In the film's epilogue, a more heavily armed Sarah takes to the open road, now pregnant with John Connor. She records her son a tape about Reese, who, in a maybe predictable time travel twist, is revealed to be his father. Wow, that guy was one and done, huh? Sarah stops for gas, where a boy takes the picture that will become her destiny. The movie ends with Sarah ready for the storm that's coming as she drives off into the pre-apocalypse. How many people met their manufacturers at the hands of this metal menace? Let's find out and get to the numbers. But what's the fastest way to get there? Huh, of course!
Wait, aren't you naked?
Oh my god!
Yeah, you forgot!
Sorry, this is embarrassing. We counted 40 kills in the Terminator, which included 4 female victims, 35 male victims, and 1 Terminator covered in living male tissue. That gives us this and technically gives us a Killigami, since the only other time we counted 40 kills was with Killer Clowns, which had a different gender breakdown. With a runtime of 107 minutes, Terminator had a kill on average every 2.68 minutes.
Pretty good.
I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to the Terminator himself. Not that often you get a death that lasts so long it spans several DVD chapters. It's like this guy in Chucky, unstoppable killing machine. No machete for lamest kill will go to Traxler and Vukovic. Feels weird to kill these guys off screen, especially when one of them's Lance Henriksen. And that's it. The Terminator came out in 1984 and beat critical and box office expectations. It became even more popular in the years that followed, as people watched it on TV and home video.
It's funny that every year that went by that we didn't make the sequel, the demand for the sequel got greater.
That sequel would come in 1991 with the more action-heavy Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But I don't currently have plans to cover that on the kill count. I do have something special for you on Sunday, though. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count.
Speaking of which,
next Kill Count. Mother's Day, a time to honor the woman who kept us fed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the perfect meatloaf.
Who loved us unconditionally.
I'm your mother, and I love you.
Who made sure that anyone who ever hurt us got exactly what they deserved.
Yikes!
spend the day with her, doing something she'll love.
Well, could we watch that scene again? You know, the one where he rips her heart out? Please?
Just make sure not to throw out any wild accusations while you're at it.
Are you a serial killer? Chip, the only cereal I know anything about is Rice Krispies.
Serial Mom is a dark comedy slasher by John Waters, so you know it's gonna be gross and pervy.
Pussy, that's what she said to me. Pussy Willow.
Oh, hey, it's Andy from Child's Play 3. Oh, wait, Andy.
Hey, Andy, what are you doing, bro?
No. This
Down,
movie
boy.
seriously rocks, though, largely thanks to the woman playing the hell out of the titular role.
Suzanne Summers?
No, Kathleen Turner. Come on, is there anyone better than her?
Fucking Don Knotts. He's the coolest.
Enough with the Three's Company laws.
Amen to that.
This week, watch a movie that dares to ask, what if Matthew Lillard played Randy Meeks?
Who's gonna be the next victim?
And on Sunday, Mother's Day, look out for the kill count. Only on Dead Meat. It's only Sunday away.
Serial Mom. Currently,
was she about to bring her own mom there? Or, I think that was the mom. Just, I love you tomorrow, day away. Bonk! I swear, that doesn't happen. I'll be surprised. At least that's what I'm thinking here. So, if I had to guess, mom's psychopath and trying to hide the fact she has a killing fetish away from the family. How else do you take it? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Adios.